call him BJ, but President Ben Jealous so much for that warm acknowledgement, and thank all of you for all the love that you've shown me throughout the
Love you, BJ!
I just really play a politician on TV, but really I am an educator, and to talk about racial justice and police brutality and injustices within the system, I am the mother of a police officer. So I get it from a personal space, both sides. My husband was an officer, our son is in law enforcement right now, and so I thought about what happened in Dallas and what happened in Baton Rouge, what happened to Castile, what happened to Sterling, and I said to myself, my son could have been all of those men. And so my heart aches about what is happening in this country, that we have to build the bridges between law enforcement and communities of color, particularly African American communities, where, as I said one time, that skin becomes the burden of skin. And we have to do something about that. You know, when young Tamir Rice was killed in Cleveland, Ohio, my home city, it was in 2014, a couple of days before Thanksgiving. And my governor, Governor John Kasich, gave me a call, and he said, Senator, I want to know how people in Cleveland are feeling. And I said, Governor, they're feeling really heavy right now. And even though the governor and I are from two different political parties, two different ideologies, but when it comes to pain, there is no political affiliation that we should care about other than wanting to work together to do the right thing. The governor listened to what I had to say. Me and two of my African American women colleagues, along with another professor, Dr. Ronnie Dunn, and we had a chance to talk to the governor. We pulled up the Kerner report. And I want to say to all of you, if you've never read the Kerner report, it was the report that President Lyndon B. Johnson had commissioned. And if you read that report, it is as if you are reading it today, when they talked about the tensions between the African American community and the police, and they gave recommendations about how we can make it better. In my great state of Ohio, the governor did not hesitate. We asked him to put together a task force. And not only did he write an executive order putting together that task force, he made yours truly one of the co-chairs. I'm going to tell you what the power. And so, sisters and brothers, we can both have justice and speak truth in this space about implicit biases that lead to the types of things that happen to black and brown folks in this country. But we can also both talk about how we need to support our women and men in blue, because they do provide a great service for us. We can't hold the system accountable, but at the same time say unequivocally with loud and unified voices that what happened in Dallas and what happened in Baton Rouge is utterly disgusting and unacceptable to target law enforcement. Police officers are not the only entity within the justice system itself, or injustice system, as some people like to call it, that we need to deal with. They're the entree, but we have judges and prosecutors that we need to make sure that we deal with, that we elect judges and prosecutors who understand that justice is more than locking folks up and throwing away the key. We need more funding for community-based policing, that we can become strangers one to another. You know, I work for a city mayor, and I know how important community-based policing is, to have law enforcement officers that spend their time, they don't do beats anymore, at least in Ohio, you know, that's an old-fashioned term. But can you imagine to have law enforcement officers that know the community, they know the personality of the community, they know the pulse of the community, so they're not treating the people right. This is really about relationships.
Yes.
So we need more funding for our law enforcement officers to get that kind of community policing. We need more training on implicit bias, because sisters and brothers, as great as this country is, it was founded on racism and sexism and discrimination. And we cannot only just blame our law enforcement officers, because we are all socialized in the same system. So training on implicit biases, more funding for community-based policing, and when it comes to psychological testing, you know, my son shared with me that law enforcement officers are under so much pressure. They only get psychological training, at least in most states, only one time, and that's when they enter the job.
Right.
Nobody is monitoring how they're feeling as their career progresses, and all the things that they have to see and do. They do run to the trauma. They don't run away from the trauma. And so I know we have the nurses here. We really have to do a lot to protect their psychological well-being as well. We need more women to be law enforcement. I'm not going to say we're perfect, but I will say we come the closest to perfection as anybody's going to do. But there is empirical data that shows that women law enforcement officers de-escalate situations far better. As a community of conscious-minded people, we have to be able to say right is right and wrong is wrong, that we can both have a dialogue about the injustices in the system and still stand up for good law enforcement officers, that we need more investments in community-based policing, we need more training in implicit biases and cultural competency, we need to make sure that our law enforcement officers receive psychological testing all the way through their careers to get them the help that they need, and there's not, and I'm not saying that as a scarlet letter, I'm saying that as real. And then lastly, my recommendation is that we recruit more women into law enforcement and people of color.